Week 1, June 23rd to June 28th, new NEW 6 slope guided video tutorial. So slope is equal to something you've probably heard of before, which is the rise over the run. So a couple things about slope. You want to always read the slope from left to right. Now, this doesn't come up really until we see graphs, but it's worth mentioning here while we're taking notes. And there's a couple ways you can see slope. You can see it as a formula, you can see it on a graph, you can see it graph, formula, drawing a blank in any other ways. But the formula for it is a fraction that's rooted in subtraction on the top and the bottom. Your y's are actually on top, so it's y minus y, 2 minus 1. So the second y minus the first one. And then the x is on the bottom, x2 minus x1. Let you in on a little secret. Doesn't matter if you switch your y's and you switch your x's 1 for 2. It does matter if you were to switch your x's and your y's top to bottom. So your y's always have to be on top. And if you think about it, y's rhymes with rise. Okay, so rise over run, y's are on top. Slope, you can also think just visually. If you're reading it left to right, are you riding the lift up the mountain or are you skiing down the mountain? So is it a positive slope? Are you going up the mountain? Or are you skiing down the mountain? Is it a negative slope? Right? So the 4 different kind of slopes you can have. That's going to be a positive slope. That's going to be a negative slope. That's going to be a 0 slope. And that's actually going to be an undefined slope. So let's try here a couple of slopes with the formula. So when you do this, you are always going to start with a fraction bar and a subtraction sign on the top and the bottom. Again, creating a template for yourself so that you don't lose a subtraction sign and now get the whole thing wrong just because you missed a subtraction sign. So remembering that your ordered pairs are x comma y, x comma y, you have to go with your y's on top. So you can either do 4 minus 2 or 2 minus 4. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but whatever you do on top, you have to follow suit on bottom. So I like starting with positives, meaning whatever's going to get me a positive number, or starting not with a negative if I can help it. So I'm going to start with 4 minus 2. So I've started here, which means that on the bottom, I have to do this, 2 minus 5. I'm going to subtract on top. 4 minus 2 gives me 2. On bottom, 2 minus 5 gives me negative 3. And I'm done. I know that my graph is going to look something like that because I have a negative slope. The negative can go on the top. It can go on the bottom. It cannot go on both. Once you attach a negative to both the top and the bottom, a negative divided by a negative would then give you a positive, and you'd actually have a positive slope. So this is the time in your life where your mama told you that 2 wrongs don't make a right, but it might be the one instance where they do. But I didn't say that, even though I just did, and I'm on video saying it. All right, so next one, we're going to start with our fraction bar, and we're going to put the subtraction and the subtraction. All right, we're going to look at the second piece because those are my y's, and I want those on top. So again, this is where, again, you don't have to be, but I want to make my life easier, and I know that if I have the double negative, it becomes the positive. So for this one, I'm going to start with the 4, because when I put that -5 there, this becomes a plus. Okay, so I started with the 4, so on the bottom, I have to do 2 here, and I have 2 minus 2. So 4 plus 5 gives me 9, 2 minus 2 gives me 0. I cannot divide by 0. It's not allowed. If you plug it in your calculator, you'll get an error message, and that means my slope is undefined. This will look like that. If you think about it, you can set your treadmill to an incline of 0. You cannot set your treadmill to an incline of undefined. It will throw you off. All right, third one. Make our fraction bar, our 2 subtraction symbols, and I'm looking at my y's. So I have 1 and I have 7. I am going to do 7 minus 1, because again, I'm just trying to stay positive in life too. All right, and then on bottom, because I started with the 7, I have to start with the 2. 2 minus 4. So see, starting on top where I stay positive, it doesn't always help me on the bottom. But again, it's just, I don't know. I like to start positive. I don't know where it's going to lead me in the denominator, but it just makes me feel better. So 7 minus 1 gives me 6. 2 minus 4 gets me -2. And then this simplifies to -3 over 1, or just -3. Either will work, but for slope, we always want a fraction. When we're graphing, it helps us out. So we'll get used to that, and I'll remind you next time. All right, try some out, try some on your own, and we will see you in a bit.